Hey guys, it's Sarah from Just My Typewriter, and I often get asked about ultra portable typewriters. Now, there are a couple different kinds of typewriters, and we've seen a variety of them on this YouTube channel. You've got your standard typewriters, which are the big, heavy desk ones. Definitely could commit murder with those guys. In fact, some people have. And then you've got something like a portable typewriter, which comes in a case. It's usually about 20 pounds. You could travel with it. It's a really great student model. You could use it in a couple different places. It doesn't have to sit specifically on a typewriter stand or on your desk. And then you've got things like toys made for children that look like typewriters, so toy typewriters, which are tiny and plastic. And in between the models that are portable and those tiny little toy typewriters are where the ultra portables live. Now, these were introduced as kind of a budget-friendly version of the typewriter that was really good for business people, people who traveled. It was a really good student model, so you could go from having something like a 1950s Royal Quiet Deluxe, and if you wanted something just a little bit smaller to take with you to class or have in your dorm room, you could have something even tinier, like a Smith Corona Skywriter from the 1950s. So they were designed to be this cheaper version and much smaller, compact version of a standard typewriter. Now, I have a few of them in my collection. I actually started my collection with an ultra portable, which I didn't know until recently. I started my collection and my first typewriter was this one. This is a Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe from about the 1960s in this beautiful teal color. This is Caroline. This is my forever typewriter. I will never get rid of it. It is so nostalgic to me. I love this machine. And I didn't know that it was an ultra portable typewriter until I got my Skywriter. But this actually comes with its own case topper. It's pretty compact and it's about 9 pounds, 9.5 pounds, 10 pounds, which is about half the weight of all of the other portables in my collection. Original portable typewriters were advertised as about being 22 pounds with their case included. Now, the next typewriter I got was this Smith Corona Skywriter over here from 1955. I was actually lucky enough to be on the Austin Typewriter Inc. podcast, and Dave from Austin Typewriter sent me this Skywriter to have in my collection because I told him I didn't have an ultra portable. Little did I know at the time that a Corsair Deluxe is an ultra portable typewriter, but he sent me the Smith Corona Skywriter, and that's one of the more popular ultra portable models out there. Now, this one is specifically from 1955. It also comes with a case topper that attaches directly to the machine. It is incredibly compact, about 9 pounds, 8.5 pounds, really tiny. It is made of metal as opposed to plastic on the Skywriter. On the Corsair, oh boy, it is made of metal, while the Corsair Deluxe is made of a plastic material, and the Corsair Deluxe actually replaced the Skywriter line by Smith Corona in the 1960s. So the last few versions of the Skywriter were made in England, and then they switched over to the Corsair Deluxe design. They also made a few other models in this body style, like the Cougar or the Constellation. There were a couple of them. Cougar's the only one I remember. But this one was also then made in England, and it replaced the Skywriter. And then I was at an estate sale. I know, stop going to them. I should. And I saw at the bottom of a big shelf unit in the back the case for another ultra portable, and this time it was a Wizard TrueType, which is a Brother machine. Brother was a typewriter and sewing machine manufacturer, and they made a ton of different models with a ton of different wacky names. This is one of the Brother machines. It is a Wizard TrueType. I've named Gandalf, and this one is from 1973. This one does not have a case that attaches directly to the top of it. It actually comes in its own like little leather case that goes around it. You can zip it into that case, and it's also around that 9.5 pound mark with the case on it. So these are 3 typewriters that are about half the weight of a normal portable typewriter. They're all considered ultra portable typewriters, and I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison of these 3 in my collection to see what might be a really good ultra portable consideration for you to add to your collection. Now, I did 3 different things with each of these typewriters. I started with a type test because it really ought to type well if it's going to be a typewriter. Now, I have a problem with portables a lot of the time sliding across the table just because they're not heavy enough to ground themselves on a typing surface. That's my big complaint with portable typewriters, and you don't have that on a desk standard typewriter because they're like 55 pounds and they really ground themselves to the surface that you're typing on. Portables sometimes are a little sketchy. When it comes to ultra portables, they are definitely not heavy enough to keep themselves grounded. So I do find when I'm typing on something like these guys, I do tend to use a typewriter mat to keep them from shifting around on me from all of the vibrations of typing really hard on a typewriter. But I did use 2 different types of paper in each of these machines just to see how they would accept a normal thin sheet of paper and some cardstock. So here's a little bit of footage with audio of the type tests of these 3 machines. Now, some of the things I found during that type test was I did like the action on one of these better than the other 2, and that would be my 1973 Wizard TrueType Gandalf. I really liked how light and easy the keys were on this machine. Now, it takes a while to get used to typing on a typewriter, and once you're used to it, you can type on all kinds of tension of keys, but I really liked the action specifically on this Wizard TrueType. I did find that I had a little bit of difficulty with the Skywriter, and I think it still probably needs some cleaning and adjustments in the type segments. Some things were still getting stuck, and I had a lot of trouble using any of the roller knobs on the Skywriter. Now, Ultra Portables will have smaller platen knobs, but the Skywriter's platen knobs are so tiny and thin, as is the platen, I just had trouble gripping them. They're a little bit larger on the Corsair and the Wizard TrueType. And I always have trouble with sliding, specifically on the Corsair Deluxe, because it's got a plastic bottom that kind of encases the whole machine. Let me show you. So it's got rubber feet on it to kind of hold it in place, but it's still really slippy and slidey on any surface, and it's just not heavy enough to keep itself in place. So that was the type test. I also did a backpack test, because if you're going to get an Ultra Portable, it's gotta be portable. Now, I have traveled with portable typewriters before, and I swear the Olympia SM9 is not a portable typewriter, no matter how much they tell you it's a portable typewriter. I got it on a train, but boy, it was a struggle. I have traveled with portable typewriters before. It's not the easiest process, but Ultra Portables are so compact. I wanted to see if they would fit in the thing that I'm always traveling with, which is my backpack. So I tried to fit each of these typewriters in their cases into my backpack, and here's what I found. The Corsair Deluxe did not fit as much as I tried to. The bottom part of the case, which is wider, was just not getting through the middle part of my backpack, and if it had got in there, there would be absolutely zero room for anything else to fit in that backpack. Then I tried the Wizard TrueType, and this one did fit with its case, but again, there was like no room to put anything else in there, and if you're going away from a weekend, you probably need some clothes. So you wouldn't be able to fit anything else in your backpack along with your typewriter. Maybe if you were just riding your bike around and you needed some way to carry your typewriter, that would be a really great way to kind of keep it safe on your back by putting the case in the backpack. And then I did try the Skywriter in the backpack, and obviously as the smallest one here, it did fit easily in there, and there was some additional room to fit some other stuff into that space. So that would be really great for travel if you just had to quickly throw it in a bag and get on a train or a plane or something. It would be so much easier to transport specifically that one because it'll fit into even smaller pieces of luggage. Then I also measured the cases with the typewriters on all of these machines, and here's what I found out. So the Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe, all of the typewriters were about 12 inches tall. The Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe was about 4 inches deep, so on the side here it was about 4 inches, and it was about 12 inches wide, which would be from side to side. So it's about a foot tall, a foot wide, and 4 inches deep. Then on to the Wizard TrueType. So this machine was also 4 inches deep, so 4 inches in the case from the top to the bottom, and I measured from the thickest part of the case on that. It was about 11.5 inches from side to side, so just a ½ inch smaller than the Corsair Deluxe over here, and it was also 12 inches tall in the case standing upright. And then to the smallest Ultra Portable on the table, the Skywriter itself was actually 3 inches deep, so it was a whole inch shallower than the other typewriters here on this table, and it was about 11 inches from side to side. So from one side to the other, it was a whole inch shorter side to side wise from the Corsair Deluxe, and again, it was 12 inches tall in the case. So we did a type test, we did a size comparison, and we shoved them all into a backpack to see which typewriter would be the best ultra portable for you. Now, I personally do not suggest an ultra portable as your first typewriter because I don't think it gives you a true typewriter experience. A lot of people love their Skywriter typewriters, and I'm intrigued by mine. It still needs a little bit of work, and I think it's really interesting, and I would be very excited to travel with it. But I would not suggest any of these to be your first typewriter, even though I'm in love with my Corsair Deluxe. They're just a little bit less hefty of a typewriter, and I don't think they give you the truest typewriter feeling when you're actually typing on them. There is such a difference between typing on a children's typewriter and a desk standard typewriter. There's such a difference also between typing on an ultra portable and a portable typewriter, even though they're closer to each other. And there's definitely a difference between typing on an ultra portable and a big, heavy Royal 10 typewriter. The heft there is just so different, and starting on an ultra portable might give you not the world's most accurate feeling of what it would be like to be on any other typewriter. I find it's a lot easier to go from typing really hard on a desk standard typewriter to then transferring that to an ultra portable typewriter, which is a little bit lighter of an action. It's a lot harder to step up from an ultra portable light action typewriter to a hefty, heavy desk typewriter. I have personal connections to the typewriters in my collection, and I'm looking for specific things on the typewriters that I love that might be different than the preferences you have for typewriters. Every collector is going to have something different that they like. Every typewriter user is going to have something different that they like. I like all three of these machines, but I wouldn't gravitate toward using an ultra portable as my daily typewriter. Now, it'd be great for travel, and maybe when I go somewhere someday I'll take one with me, but for me, a daily typewriter right now is one of the portables that's sitting on my desk. It's not an ultra portable like one of these. I just find that it's a little bit more difficult to use as kind of a daily typewriter because they're just not as heavy as the other machines in my collection, but they're definitely cool to look at. Of the three of them, the one I like using the most is actually this Wizard TrueType, and watch, it has a thing that comes out the back. Isn't that cool? I just really like the action of this one. I like the way it sounds. But the case on this one is not as sturdy as the case toppers for the other two machines. I've actually had to do some repair on the case that comes with this one. It does not come with a case topper. It comes with a fully enclosed case that is made of like a pleather material, and I find that that kind of rips really easily and it falls apart a little bit easier. So I wouldn't want to travel maybe with the case specifically for this one because I just don't think it's as sturdy as something like the plastic case topper that goes on the Corsair Deluxe or the metal topper that goes on the Skywriter. Both of these just come with lids. That also means that all of the bottoms on these typewriters are fully enclosed. In order to do any repairs, you would have to take that bottom off of the typewriter. It also has a really shallow area on all of the ultra portables between the type basket and the bottom of the typewriter, or that bottom casing of the typewriter, and I think that adds something to how the action is on the typewriter itself. There's something about how thin they are because other portable typewriters are much thicker on the sides where that type basket is. And again, all of these are no more than 4 inches tall. So I do think that that is another consideration to make on the ultra portable designs. I will never get rid of my Corsair Deluxe. I really love typing on the Wizard TrueType, but I do think that the Skywriter is the most portable of the three. So if you're interested in more information on these typewriters specifically, I'll link down some videos where these machines have been featured before. I have a full story on the Skywriter over here. I did a full cleaning video on this Wizard TrueType, and I've featured Caroline in many, many, many videos on this YouTube channel because she's kind of my favorite. If you're interested in more typewriter content, I have more videos on this YouTube channel about all the typewriters in my collection. I also have an Instagram at just.my.typewriter. If you have an ultra portable in your collection, leave me a comment down below. What kind of ultra portable do you have? Do you like it? What are your opinions? Because again, all of these are based on my personal preference, and that might be totally different from yours. So leave me a comment down below about the typewriters in your collection and what your thoughts are on the ultra portable. I want to thank you all so much for watching and remind you that you're just my typewriter.